So, hello. We are
Hello,
back.
hello.
Yeah, the Powered Podcast is back. Today with us is wonderful Ksenia, and she also has a consultancy, and probably she will tell us what her consultancy and she does. Yes, please.
Yeah. So I'm managing partner at ASAO DS. We um, are combining business consulting and developing tailored solutions based on the stuff
Mm-hmm.
we suggested in the business consulting part. So we'd like to say that we're solving business problems with data solutions. Most of the time, it will be data related solutions, but not always.
Mm-hmm.
So, a bit about myself. I used to be a programmer and then a data scientist, then a leading product manager, and then head of the department. And basically, every time I switched my career, it was because I understood that to make more impact, I have to understand one more small bit about the business. And I end up doing consultancy because I understand the 3D image of the business. So it's technical, it's business, and it's processes, and it's everything should be working together towards one goal. And I love doing combining all of that.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. To anyone who may not know what I do, I offer a software engineering management consultancy, which means I try to dig under the hood of the engineering teams and try to offer them like tailored solutions to fix their problems. It might be a technical problem, it might be a management problem or a communication problem. So we have a lot of things in common, I believe. And that's really wonderful because it's really hard to package to make sense of what we do and to explain that to people so they will see more value in what we do. And I would like to ask you, what kind of problems do you solve? Maybe you can bring an example and we can understand like what is this business and data and engineering part, what people do and yeah.
So, for instance, there is a great example when a social service came and they did their tests on the smaller number of users. Everything was great, and they had great metrics, and they wanted to scale. They started buying traffic, so the number of users grew significantly, but their metrics, such as retention and so on, started to decrease dramatically. And they came to us with a question: what is happening? We don't know. So basically, everything was great. We started pouring traffic. Everything broke. Why? And during the dig in their data and understanding how their systems work, we understood that their matching algorithm, ranking algorithm, fails on this scale. So it basically, you could not see this flaw in the smaller numbers, but when the numbers are big, more and more people see weird results and they don't stick because they're not interested. We fixed the algorithm, we wrote a new one, we gave them this new algorithm, and now they have like 60% more revenue, and their retention is much better. Everything is great. So this is the kind of problems I like to solve because it's both technical and business, and it's on the verge of scale where you understand that something is working differently now.
That's that's a very nice story. I really love it. Um,
Yeah.
and then my question is, who shouldn't contact you?
Oh, that's a nice one. Mm, I think we can help most of the businesses. I
So
think,
business need to
except
be running, so they need to have a problem, right? So there should be some criterias, right? When they need to contact you.
I think every business has some problems. So it is no questions out. There is something that can be improved, even though it's not hurting the business yet. It may hurt the business in the future. So I would say people should not contact us if they are not ready to listen and to open up for the new perspectives and new solutions, because sometimes there are management problems, and the managers should be ready to hear that. Sometimes it's first thing. Second thing, if your decision loops are counted in years, probably we won't match each other's tempo. We're trying to work in more faster environment, and that's what we like to do. And third thing, I would say if your company right now is looking for product market fit, the only thing we can help you with is to brainstorm. When you're looking for product market fit, you need to experiment, experiment, experiment. It's no consultancy would help you with that. There are some tricks that are available
Marketing
online,
consultancy.
and probably you know everything. Yeah, in marketing consultancy, but the key for finding that fit is basically exploring your business, and this is the job of the entrepreneur. Before that and after that, we're happy to help.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Um, I was going to tell that what I was thinking, like, why can't you be hired to be in the company to fix those problems? First of all, I was thinking that, a consultant cannot be hired because the job might be small, like you have a limited time to fix it, so you don't need it to do like for a very long time. And the second part was for me it was offering the third eye, like a some high level overview. And once you are not in the bureaucracy and you are not in the hierarchy, you can just talk straight to people, and you are becoming kind of a hack, because otherwise, if you were going to tell something about management, you would need to follow procedures. And in this case, you don't need any procedures because you are just coming from outside and seeing this from the above. I would like to hear your perspective on this. Why can't people just hire you or any of your team members to do the job you do?
I think it's important to understand that a consultant is the person who gives you different dimension perspective. So basically you have your problems, you know everything about your business, all the people inside know everything about your business, but when you're looking from the side, you first, as you said, are able to talk with everyone everywhere and see the communications problem. Sometimes there are people who they didn't know it's important to mention that just because nobody asked the right question. Secondly, if the person is already in the system, it's hard to give that perspective. So the company has, I don't know, first 3 months of the onboarding to have that freshness. and then the freshness is gone.
Yes.
About the second thing you said about that department is not needed, the function is not needed in the company yet.
Mm-hmm.
It is also very true about data science stuff that we're doing, because a lot of companies, they just need one feature that is based on data science, and then they won't need it for like 2 more years until
Mm-hmm.
they're grown and big, and there is no reason to pay for your own employees to develop that if you don't need that skill set in the future. So you basically hire a consultancy that will make it, and then the consultancy will just leave and give you the ready to support thing. Yeah, that's but if actually the department is needed, and we see that, like, as we do business, and we see that there is potential for this kind of skill set in the future development of the product, we just basically help people hiring that team, and we would mentor that team for a bit to be sure that this team knows how to solve business problems internally. This is also a way of working with us, because sometimes it is needed inside,
Yeah.
but no one from inside knows how to hire people like that.
Yeah, that makes sense, actually. What I was also going to tell is, one person asked me, so you are so wonderful engineering manager, why don't you start your own company to do these things? And as you said, the freshness fades. And I was telling him, you know what, I could start my company, but if I want to help people, I wouldn't be able to help myself, because I don't have a third person perspective from my company. You could help me. You could be consultant that helps me, but I cannot help myself. So I think this is really interesting part that, I don't know, probably psychiatrists cannot go to themselves, or people who are cutting their hair probably can cut, people who cut hair probably can cut their hair. But I think it's a good thing to have professional people who are outside of your, like who are just doing that and just coming and fixing and going. I think that makes sense, a lot of sense. We were
Yeah,
uh,
that's true.
I was also going to tell who shouldn't hire me. It's probably, as you said, people who don't
Yep.
understand that they need the change, they have problems. And one of the discoveries when I'm talking to people is that most of the people don't have the pain, and I don't have the time or I don't want to start to convince them that they need my services, even if I know they do. So even if I have insights, some data points that they do, but if people think that they don't need my service, is the best sign that really probably they don't. And yeah, that would be like probably the shortest answer to my question. But if we think in technical sense, I think it's mostly smaller teams who are self-organized, and they don't need much bureaucracy. They don't need, like, up to 10 people who are just organizing themselves. They can work together. They have managers, and they are their own managers, and they are each other's managers. So they can distribute the work between themselves, and they don't need to have this I don't know, overseeing structure and stuff. But I believe once it becomes, I don't know, 11 or maybe 12, I mean, once it becomes to scale, then you start to see some problems with some things failing. And once you have managers who are managing managers, not just managing people, right? Well, yeah, you have managers managing managers, and then you have already a big communication gap between the the bottom level and the higher management, for sure there will be a lot of things that are missing. And I think that in Armenia, at least, we don't always understand the value of that. We don't always understand the value of sometimes the third perspective who might give. And I was doing interviews with people during WCIT and Digitech, and I was telling you before, but I was asking people why they don't need my service. Firstly, I was going to people and saying, okay, why do you need do you need this kind of service? They were telling, no, probably we don't. And then my pitch was, okay, why? Oh, can you tell why don't you need my service? And that was really interesting because I met a guy from Georgia who was not in the field at all, not in the technical field, but he told me that we have. We have cultural thing where we tend to have everything internal. We try to make as much, keep as much like to ourselves, our team, our processes, and to not give secret sauce, let's say, to other people. So that might be one of the things that I discovered about our nation and my culture. So and I think that there are some markets where they understand the values of the third perspective, and we need to find that also. Yeah.
I would say that to be scared to share how it's done within your company, to be scared that someone will steal it, and all of that is very common in post-Soviet Union territories.
Very true.
In post-Soviet Union territories and also within first-time founders. First-time founders often tend to think that it is their unique idea, everything is super unique, it is nobody would understand that, and when you've seen so many businesses, you understand that most of them have same problems, or at least same direction of same problem families that can be solved if you see like helicopter view, that can be solved pretty easily and pretty fast, and it will help so much. Bear me with this here. What is the top one or top three problems or family family of problems that you see in the companies you're working with? Interviewing the interviewer.
Top one is the communication. People is like engineers are not talking. It's really hard to talk to engineers. They don't tend to talk. They don't know how to communicate right. Managers don't talk to engineers as much as they should probably. So the communication issue, and I'm not telling about just talking. I'm telling the documentation, the tasks, the prioritization, the clear communication signs that people should know what they are doing. This needs to be very clear. Like people should know what they are expected to deliver. This should be very, very clear in order for us to get results. This is the top one problem. Second is probably just the golden hammer principle. When we have just one tool, we know MySQL database and we do everything MySQL. Though I've seen that this change a lot during the last couple of years, but we still use a couple of tools to solve many issues. And the third one, I believe, is the companies who are doing some kind of niche work. They need niche knowledge. and not everyone in company has that knowledge. And then there is not enough efforts. I'm not talking about the engineering knowledge, but rather, for example, if you are, I don't know, in healthcare and you have some, or you are, let's say, in e-commerce, are you sure your engineers understand how the life cycle of product, like the product that you are selling on the website, is going? So, and this is something that I discovered that was really interesting, because I thought, oh, the people probably would know. So I think, yes, these top 3 things are most common. And what about you? What do you think about this problem? What are the 3 topics that...
I would totally, I would first answer to the stuff you said, because I could 100% relate to the third one. And I was in both places. So I was the person who discovered the Slack, and I was also the person causing the Slack, because it is so easy to assume that everything you know, everybody knows. And it is pretty hard to start sharing, to start explaining stuff that you feel that it is obvious and it's unneeded, and it will be just yet another documentation that no one would read. But actually, you have some unique knowledge that no one else in the company understands, and it is a good idea to share that. So one of the solutions I've made in my team, we've made a table of contents of my head, all the processes, everything I know, and we put a person who can say that he can explain that to any other person. And we've made that table, and we made sure whenever we got a new process or the new domain that we were overseeing, we added a line there, and we made sure that each line has, except me, at least one more or two, at best, 2 more people who can cover that if something happens. So this is a great tool, please use. One more thing I wanted to say about the golden hammer. I actually, most of the time, see the opposite situation, where every feature in the company is made with a new stack, and it's impossible to bring them all together. It's basically can be Ruby and Rails with Python, with Pascal, with PHP, with, I don't know, MySQL, MongoDB, and on top of that, I don't know, Postgres somewhere. And ClickHouse on top, of course. And then you start to standardize that, because you need DevOps to handle that. You need the processes internally to work smoothly. You need the dashboards to see how it's going. And it's impossible to standardize that because there were no standards and everybody was just experimenting. So one tool for everything is not great, but also every new feature with a new tool is also a big problem. You need to find the balance.
That's true.
100%.
I also want to reflect about the...
Yeah.
We were talking about the ideas and how they really just... like people are scared of sharing ideas. And I want to say that no ideas are unique, and everything is stolen. Everything and every time is stolen. And I wanted to say that if a person can just looking at your, even looking at your document, and they can just replicate your business. I'm not telling about creating the product. But if they can replicate your business, that means that the business is really weak. So that there are a lot of things which are just in the process of doing and how you are doing it as a like the, I don't know, product owner or a CEO or whoever drives the business. And this cannot be copied by just telling other people. This is not possible. I wanted to reflect on that
Yeah.
because that's something that we tend sure to, and I think it's
Yeah.
more sharing more of your ideas even in the beginning with as much people as possible will help you to mitigate a lot of problems going forward, and it will help you to validate it. And probably 90% of them, if someone
Yeah.
else could do that just from your idea, like just telling the idea, probably it's not worth it starting this business.
But I would also add here on top of that that people that are capable of making that business are probably already making something else. And they don't have time. Maybe they have passion, maybe they will have time sometime in the future, but they generally will root for you. They will want to help you, to give you advice, because we all want each other to succeed, because it is not one business that succeeds, it's the ecosystem that grows. And this is why I want everybody's consultancies to succeed and to actually help each other, because it's not me or you, it's me and you
Yeah.
most of the time.
Yes.
So, and the same is with businesses and entrepreneurship. Uh, there are oceans of ideas out there. The only thing that matters is how you execute it. And nobody else in the world probably has the time, the passion, and the knowledge you have. But you can always try to gain more knowledge
Yes.
to be better at what you do.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you about like when you go to companies, is this like the same solutions you just come and just implement? You're just doing this, I don't know, trainings and just putting the same processes over and over, or is just like not happening like that?
No, unfortunately, it does not work like that. Again, because each company and each business, they do, as I said, they do have the same family of problems, but they don't have really the same solutions because they all operate slightly differently. And it is easy from the helicopter view to see the problem, but the solution would need to be created for the company itself. It's very easy to explain with the technical coding stuff. It's basically everybody has their own APIs. There is no standard APIs in the whole world. There is open banking system that is released and we're going there. But right now, there is no such thing. And everybody would need their tailored processes and also their tailored coding solutions as we're also delivering code, because we want it to suit best the company that we're making it for.
Yeah. So tailored, like same family of problems, but tailored solution. And probably you also need to understand the context of where the business is right now, like the environment, right?
Of course.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. I would say that we can make a beautiful parallel, beautiful metaphor with actually tailoring the suit. It's basically a suit. Everybody needs like a suit when you go to a tailor, or a dress. But the dress and the suit will be sewn differently for different people.
Yeah, that makes
It
sense.
even may look alike when you look on people, but it will actually be sewn differently to fit different postures, different body features.
Yeah, I agree. And
I like this metaphor.
yes, it's a really good one because it is you can try to like there is an interesting like by that there's an interesting thought by Seth Godin And what he says it's I'm not sure it's him, but I think it's him. But the idea is that uh, uh, we are changing our mindset so that there is a when there was industrial revolution, everything was standardized, right? Then you have same cups, same plates, same everything, and you have same dresses. And people who went to prom, let's say, and they needed a dress, and they put it on, and the tailor says, "Okay, sorry, you don't fit." It's not that the dress doesn't fit you. You don't fit the dress. So it's interesting that we are going through this mindset shift, that there are a lot of different solutions to maybe even the same problems, but in different contexts. And yes, the suit analogy is really good in this case.
Yeah.
I
It
want
was interesting
yeah.
how the SaaS world,
Mm-hmm.
sorry,
Yeah. Just continue.
with this huge boom of SaaS, we're convinced that there should be a SaaS thing that solves our problem, but most of SaaSes will do slightly different from what we need. And I'm not sure it's just a thought. I'm not sure it's a good thing or a bad thing because I like delegating everything to people or to products that will solve my problems without me doing anything. And sometimes I need to bend a bit to work with a product or a solution. Uh, but it would be so much better if the products could bend towards my needs.
That's true. We
I
had
don't
this
know, just a thought.
we had this practice in my previous a couple of previous companies where the HR was congratulating the birthdays, right? And I was doing this thought experiment and saying, okay, what if we automate this and say, okay, we are automating, and then we were writing a message from the HR's point of view, and next thing in my idea, and people were congratulating after that, and you're saying, okay, what if you just automate this congratulation process and then just make a bot that will congratulate from your point of view? And the third thought was, what if the person who were saying like, oh, thank you for all this, was just another bot who says, and you have a just complete package and it doesn't make any sense, and you just throw it away. You just remove it completely because there is no need in it anymore, because this process doesn't make any more sense. Yes, this is about.
Yeah.
I would like also to talk about engineers because
But
yeah. But you can reflect on that if you like.
just continue.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about the how do you feel, because I have a strong feeling that the engineers most of the time have engineering solutions to every problem. And that's not a bad thing. That's how our brain works. And like even our
Yeah.
human problems, we are trying to solve with engineering solutions. What are your thoughts on this? And maybe you can just tell us.
I would say that the best code is unwritten code. So the best code is no code because there will be no bugs.
Less is more.
So if something can be solved, like, I don't know, a problem with a customer, or I don't know, something else can be solved just with people talking or changing the process, or I don't know, deleting a feature that is not working without fixing it, it should be done no code way or less code way, because more code equals more bugs, equals more supporting, equals more brain power when migrating to the new technology or anything else. So always think if it can be solved without a code, or if the feature needs to be fixed or deleted. Always double guess yourself without going to fix that immediately or writing a code to automate something.
I was
And
going
what do
to
you
ask
think?
you about, yes, I completely agree, and I was going to ask you about have you seen over engineering in your in your consultancy career or previous career, and what do you think about it, like
Of course.
making features for the sake, or even not only over engineering, but there's a second topic of just adding more features, more and more features to the products, and hoping they will be better.
Yeah, I've seen both of the problems. And actually, over engineering is a problem, but it can be solved with a good management and with good talks with the engineering team, explaining where we need a huge amount of engineering thoughts, where we don't need scalable things, when we need to just duct tape MVP something. It is something that can be solved through communication. But the direction of the company of just adding more and more and more features cannot. This is, I think, much bigger problem in the scale of the business and in the scale of developing the business. Um, because first problem is that when the client comes, he doesn't understand what is your product about. It's just a set of features that are not combined together, that are not living good together, that are not helping each other to solve the problem of the customer. And also, many features probably means that you're solving more than one problem. And when you're a startup, it's better to focus on one thing, but become super great in that one thing, become super known to be solving this particular problem. As we're working mostly with startups, this would be my advice. Stay sharp, because a lot of big customers will be coming to you and saying, I need this one more feature or this one more feature. And then you become huge in the mental load because for the customer. For them, it's hard to remember how to use. It is mental load for product designers, manager, and all of them to combine that back to one vision. It won't be one vision, it will be just like family of visions, all kind of together, but still different. And the third problem, it will be hell on the engineering side, because you would have million different features doing different stuff, and they need to remember how each and every one should work, because sometimes when you scale, some of those features will be duct tape, some of those features will be working in the old technologies, and it will be nearly impossible to support.
And
So sometimes you need to cut off the stuff you don't like, the stuff that does not align with your vision.
my follow-up question: how do you use data to make educated decisions?
That's a tough question, because I really like and love and use a lot data-driven methods, data-driven decision-making processes, and all of that. But I truly believe that this is a double-edged sword kind of thing, because data, first, I'm mathematician. I know that there is no better way of lying than statistics, because when you really truly have your own way of thinking, you believe something, you will find uh, supporting arguments in the data if you want to.
Confirmation bias.
You may try at least. Yeah, this is confirmation bias. It's the first thing. Second thing is that data-driven decisions can only lead you to better tactical solutions. They can lead you towards local optimums, but they will not give you disruptively new things.
Mm-hmm.
So data can say only how your current users with the interfere with your current product, but it would not answer the question, what if we change the product completely?
Mm-hmm.
So I think everybody should be considering using data-driven methods and obviously using them whenever appropriate. But again, this is a tool, and there are some places when it's great to use it and some places when it's not. For example, there is a great story. There is in I think it is in Russia, the online streaming service. It was Oka, I think. They were at first a free-to-use service with ad monetization. So basically,
Mm-hmm.
they were showing ads, getting money from ads, and all of that. And they were making so from data standpoint, they were trying to squeeze better ads there. They were trying to show more relevant ads based on the film, based on the person. So this was their monetization strategy. And then their CEO, I think, at the time, came and said, "We need subscription-based model." And no data could prove him right in the product or outside the product. And the product team was terrified because we were optimizing this for so long, blah, 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 we need this. But basically, it turned out to be a huge success for them. And no data-driven model can give you courage to make those decisions. So you need to combine both your vision, your strategy, but for tactical things and for some strategical things, you need to consult data. So it should be a balance between them.
Yeah, that sounds
What
really great.
do you think about the data?
Yeah,
Do you use it in your line of work?
I do, but not in terms of because I don't work with product as a concept. I try to gather my own data. It's not the regular data, but I try to gather data from like the insights from the team and understand what they are using, and try to gather data for the technical parts, for the like try to understand how this database works or how that works, and try to make decisions based on that. But your point of view was really interesting. I really loved it, and I want to thank you for this wonderful talk. If you don't have anything more to say, and if you do,
You're
please.
again glitching.
Yeah, I was going to say that if you have any other questions, or maybe you have something to say, you can say it. That I think we can finish today.
I will ask one more question. If you are no. In the preparation for this call, we talked about a concept. There is no one size fits it all processes and solutions and basically anything. When you're talking about the business, it will be so much different depending on the state of the business, depending on the context. So, how do you use this concept when you're consulting?
Yeah. Um,
And how do you explain it?
my,
That's more
my, my,
interesting.
my, my my approach mostly is that actually people who I work with know answers better than I do. And in most cases, it's like just asking people what problems do they see, what solutions do they have to that problems, assessing feasibility of that solutions, and just trying and testing and trying and testing. This is my approach. So I have some data. I know that this kind of works. This works this way, but my approach is mostly to listen to people, to understand what they are saying, to understand why they are right in what they are saying, and trying to just make sense for everyone to make sense. And for each situation, this can be completely different. Yeah, this is my point of view.
Yeah. Um, I would agree with you that we can wrap up on that. It was great talking to you, and I truly believe we conquered all our technical challenges for today. Thank you very much for inviting me, and I would be glad to speak with you soon again.
Yes, me too. I hope we can continue it with another podcast. So thank you, Ksenia, again, one more time.
Thank you.